Hello and welcome to GMBN Tech, where we're shooting in sunny Spain. And I'm going to be talking about the Shimano drivetrain and their new hubs today. Industry 9 have dropped some colourful new headsets. Canyon have updated their Stoic, and we spotted some prototypes on Instagram. All this, stay tuned. So today's topic is inspired by Orbea's Trail Tales. So if you haven't seen this series of videos, head to Orbea's website or to their YouTube. And one of their episodes was about broken dreams and sustainability in an area of Northern America, where they're basically trying to bring back a purpose and redevelop the area, which was heavily mined back in the day. And they're doing this by building trails, mountain bike trails. And they're bringing local youths in as well, giving them their first job potentially, and giving some tourism back to the area. And I just think it's a great story. And it got me thinking about other companies in the mountain biking industry that are doing really well in terms of developing the environment or thinking about sustainability. So one of my favorite brands is Chris King. You know, they're all making hubs and headsets that last potentially, that are fully serviceable, and they're upgradable as well. So trying to keep parts out of landfill. So Chris King were the first cycling corporation to get the B Corp certification for being generally looking after their employees and using great sustainability measures. And one of those measures was to gather up metal shavings from their production and reuse them in production. But also they'd gather them into little pucks and squeeze them so that the oil would come out and they could actually reuse oil. So really innovative stuff. And then Alpkit also receiving the prestigious B Corp certification, but having a great repair program for their tents and their bike packing bags. Also Apidura having repairable bike packing bags too, which makes me think of Patagonia, which almost started the whole repair rather than replace program. And they have started bringing out mountain biking clothing, 100% fair trade mountain bike clothing, which is great. And also along with that is the 1% of profits going towards the environment, as you would expect from Patagonia. And then in terms of parts and components, it's so good to see companies like Shimano now moving away from plastic packaging and using cardboard. But also being small means that they can pack more into containers and trucks so that they can use less travel and less environmental impact from importing, basically. Also, I've noticed that Leia have started doing their cardboard packaging with even ink soy as well, so taking that extra step, plus making clothing from recycled tree pulp and recycled coffee grounds, which I thought was interesting. And I'm sure there's loads of companies out there that I've forgotten that are doing great things for recycling, sustainability, and I'm sure you guys know. So let me know down in the comments below, is there someone out there that's doing some really good stuff in the mountain biking or the cycling industry that I don't know about? Because I want to know, so let me know. So Shimano have released a new drivetrain, which is called Cues, and it's at their first tier, I would say. And what they're doing is they're consolidating their 9, 10 and 11 speed so that now they have cross-compatible parts across the lot. So not only does this make it less complex for people buying into group sets and upgrading or buying parts for their group set, but also it allows shops to stock less parts and have less inventory. So I'm absolutely loving that. It's making it more affordable and easier to upgrade for people with that drivetrain going forward. And it includes their Link Glide as well as a new thicker cassette, and a sort of taller profile, which should make it more durable, as well as less likely to skip. So it should be nicer shifting for that lower tier, which is amazing. It's supposed to be their most durable drivetrain according to Shimano. So that is really interesting to see. And also slightly going under the radar is 4 hubs, or 4 models of hubs that Shimano are bringing out, and 3 of which are not cup and cone. They are cartridge bearings, which they said they would never veer away from cup and cone. One of the models is, so they haven't completely veered away from it, but the others are now offering cartridge bearings. And the best part about these hubs is that you can swap the free hub bodies, you can have inserts, so you can change between quick release and bolt through axles. And yeah, it seems that you can, if you think about it, you are then able to use one wheel set to swap between different bikes, depending on, you know, even if you have different drivetrains or different quick release systems, which I think is really great thinking. So 4 of the models, one of them remains cup and cone, the rest cartridge bearings, and the top model has 10 degrees of engagement. So one to look out for, I think. Also, over in the world of Canyon, their Stoic, which is their do-it-all hardtail. Rich and Blake have had some fun times on that bike. Nothing serious has changed in terms of geometry, but they've had a bit of a makeover, some fresh paintwork, and some new specs. So that is sizing from 2XS, so double extra small, up to extra large. The medium and less come with 27.5 inch wheels, and anything larger is 29. But do check out that Stoic 2 in the thermite red. I really like that sort of deep clay look, which is really nice. And then Industry 9 have brought out some headsets. This is the iRix headsets. And basically you can go onto the website and build your own, whether it's top, bottom. You can choose from 11 different colors as well. And you can even mix and match those colors. So if you want a top that's different colored to the bottom, you can. You've got matching stem caps as well, and spacers, and all of that matches the i9 hubs and the stems that are already there. There's a lot of cross compatibility as well. So if you buy one of these headsets and then you change to a new frame, then there should be minimal upgrading required if you want to transfer that over. Also a lifetime warranty. So I'm loving that a lot of companies are suddenly thinking about cross compatibility, which is great. And then any snowboarders out there, you might be stoked to find out that Volcom have now started making mountain biking clothing. I can access the clothing on our website. It's US only at the moment, and we should be seeing some clothing drop in May, but you can head over to their Instagram page if you're outside of the US and check out some of their clothing. I'll leave the link on the screen for you. And we've got some steezy riders like Ryan R. Howard, or Doggy Styles if you know him on Instagram. Also Intense Factory Racer, Dakota Norton, all on this new Volcom kit, which looks to be, you know, pants, trousers, tie-dye, t-shirt kind of vibes. So very Volcom, a little bit dirt jumpy freestyle, and I like it. So one to watch. And then speaking of Instagram, we have spotted our very own British rider, Matt Walker, who rides for Saracen, has been riding around on a downhill bike that has a little shroud over it. So check this out. And we're just wondering what's under there. Is there a new Saracen mist or a new linkage? Is he covering up a shock? It looks like there's a normal chain line on there, so I'm not expecting some new high pivot wizardry on the horizon. Also in the World Cup scene, if you follow any athletes that are currently on Specialized or S-Works, you may have seen potentially a new Epic, whether you realized it or not. We've seen a couple of athletes at the moment that have been riding a bike with a shroud over a shock over the top tube. It's got kind of Trek Super Caliber vibes, I would say. Remember the days when we used to say, oh, that looks like a session? I think nowadays in the XC world, we're going to be, looks like a caliber because it kind of looks like there's a shock built into the top tube. Whether that's going to be a short travel 80 mil like the Super Caliber or not, don't know. But the World Cup will be on the 12th to 14th of May. So I think we should be watching that with a keen eye to see what this new Epic looks like. And I'm hoping to be there scouring the tent for new tech, possibly. So do tune in around that time to see what we can find. Okay, it's comments time from you lovely people. And well, before we talk about some of the comments, we asked you to give us a thumbs up for Rich. And he's gone and won the whole like competition, the unofficial like competition, with 225 likes on Rich joining the show last week, which completely blows Blake and Martin out of the water. So sorry, Blake and Martin, but yeah, maybe I should bring up Neil next time. Do you think he would win? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So what would the pros really choose? That's what we were talking about, the Whitey Uncaged team last week. And I've got Bart and his bike says, this is a big reason why I enjoy building bikes from the ground up. I have always picked what I wanted, not necessarily what goes together. I do think that time and riding a lot of different products is the only way to get a good feel for what you actually want. Yeah, I agree. The more I've ridden different brands, the more I understand what I really like. Chief Silverback says, Rich made a good point about logistics and spares. I wonder how it impacts the team financially. Presumably when a team sponsored for particular components, they get steeply discounted or even free parts from factory support. Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, I wish we'd spent more time with Texty to find out how that actually impacts the team, but maybe I'll try and find out if I go to some races in the future. Zach Craigle says Nico Mullally wanted to be uncaged, so he built his own bike. I think it could go either way. Yeah, you're right. Nico Mullally is completely uncaged, changing between different frames that he's built himself. Chilbani says, as a man who mixes brands without any concern, I tend to think that racers should be able to freely choose their gear and equipment without marketing or business constraints. Yeah, I think I agree with you, but also I think at a certain level, you can just be good riding whatever you want, and maybe you're comfortable riding different brands. So there's different factors to weigh up. Bobo, the rice farmer, says, if I become pro, I would always want to be able to pick my own cockpit. Yeah, I think I might agree with you there, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were a few cockpits that were rebranded, like back in the good old days. But hey, I'm just speculating. But thanks for your comments. Okay, I've got a couple of top mods here that caught my eye. First off here, is from Carl from the Wirral with a Dartmoor Hornet. Check out this Hornet. But he's basically said to me he got bored and repainted his frame, and check out that sort of two-tone paint job. He tells me it changes color in the light, goes from a nice like bronzy goldy beige to purple to red. So yeah, that is absolutely stunning. And I've not seen many paint jobs from you guys. Where's all your top mod paint jobs? This side of the planet, it's super cold. You should be in the shed painting stuff. And then my second one here, which caught my eye, is on a Trek session from Josh in Cannock Chase, who said, I broke my gear shifter lever off in a crash and had to modify it to get me back onto the trails until I could get a replacement. And check this out, he's literally just put a bolt through it, so he's got a shifter cable made out of an old bolt. Honestly, I think that is genius. You should probably send that into GMBN as a hacks and bodge as well, because I reckon you'd win a stunt mug for that. But yeah, don't forget to upload your top mods down to the link below, our uploader. Also Bike Cave and Rewind as well for all your retro gear and bikes. And finally, I just wanted to remind you that it is the Global Bike Festival coming up in a few months' time. Head to globalbikefestival.com and see what is on offer. You can come and spend the weekend with us. The whole team is going. Blake, Neil, Rich, myself, everyone is going. If you want to hang out with us, we're going to be riding bikes, playing games, doing silly things, pub quizzes, probably drinking a bit of beer or a bit of coffee, whatever your flavour. And there's also the Downhill World Cup is just over the other side of the mountain in Leogang at the same weekend. I'm probably going to get the lift over there and watch it and probably ride back. So if you want to join me, then head over to the website and sort yourself out some tickets. But for now, thanks for watching, and do join the debate in the comments below about your favourite sustainable mountain bike brands.